believe me, I ain't finna hold nothing back. Cause I grew up in the 60s. I grew up counting money. That's how I got it.
Planned use of films is one of the most effective methods of communicating ideas.
Drop bars of knowledge for boys who dropped out of college. Police try to book me cause I'm clocking dollars. Obstacles in the way, this accomplishments in disguise. Sometimes I wonder if I'm making sense or is it too fly? Helicopters over my hood, I wonder who shot.
This is DJ Blake, and my next guest completely fits into my podcast, Hottest Hip Hop News and Sneaker Talk. Not only is he an artist, but also manages the sneaker and streetwear store called The Cool, which is located in South Center Mall. This artist is very passionate and humble about his craft, and it was an honor to have him on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing
Bryce Bowden.
Like this.
DJ Blake.
Welcome back, everyone. This is DJ Blake, keeping you up to date with all the hottest hip-hop news and sneaker talk. And today, I'm with a very special guest.
Boom, 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 boom.
The one and only Bryce Bowden.
Yes, sir.
Now, I have been super, super excited for this interview. First of all, do you own or do you work at The Cool?
For some reason, there's a miscommunication there just because I never am not working. But
okay.
Yeah, I just work there. I'm the manager at The Cool.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, one of my good friends owns it.
Hey, that's one of my favorite stores in Seattle. I have to admit, not gonna lie, I have to say you guys do overpriced shoes sometimes.
Hey,
but just to go into that store and see all those shoes and like you have a whole Supreme wall of like pickaxes and like
totally.
Spray cans and all that stuff.
Totally,
that's crazy.
The most random stuff. No home is complete without a transparent pregnancy torso.
Yes, that's what the heck is that?
Yeah.
And then you guys took out the Keymaster thing where you can win those shoes.
Yeah, we didn't take it out. It's actually turns out that there's like weird laws that kind of like stipulate that you can't really have it, or you can have it, but we would have had to go through like a lot of trouble. Paperwork. It's kind of like that of a casino.
Okay.
If you want to have one in your store, they consider it gambling.
Oh wow.
So we did have it for over a year. The Keymaster was like really huge success, but people think we had this kid who used to win a lot.
Is it rigged or?
It's in our favor. It's
okay.
After a certain point, it becomes a skill level based.
Okay. That's
so
true.
You got to play the machine.
Yeah.
It's just like slot machines. They're rigged, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. We had this one kid. He used to win a lot. Every few weeks, he would actually win a shoe. He won like 4 shoes on the thing.
Oh my
People
gosh.
thought that like he bankrupted the machine and like we got rid of it. No, it's not the case. We just had to get rid of it for like kind of legal reasons.
Gotcha.
Even other stores.
Yeah, I
if
saw
you notice,
Seattle's the Space Needle store or whatever with all those shoes.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called either.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called either. Yeah, but they don't. There's no longer any Keymasters around just for that kind of reason. People are smarting up. Yeah, they don't want to get in trouble.
But you have, when it comes to promotion, in my opinion, you're doing everything right. When I came into your store, you're like, yeah, I'm an artist. Here's my business card, and here's
flex.
a CD.
Flex.
You know, like that's what I'm investing into now. Like contact cards are very important because you don't know who you're gonna meet.
Sometimes, I mean, it's old school. Yeah, if I don't have the right, tool at the moment, business card will work.
Right.
It's more about just kind of making that impression.
Gotcha.
Whatever you have.
So what are the main ways you promote yourself then, besides just contact cards?
Well, specifically the way that me and you met, it's really easy for people to come through the shop, and then I'm already it's my job just working at the shop to pick their brain, kind of about their clothing preferences, but just kind of what they're shopping for, normal retail stuff. But from there, the streetwear side and the shoe side of it is so close to kind of the music side of it. I guess.
Okay.
They're parallels. It's easy for me to keep the conversation going, whether it's shoes and clothes or music and stuff like that. That's very telling why this interview is actually kind of good for the both of us. It's exciting for me to be here.
Are you interested in like clothing lines or for like your brand itself as Bryce Bowden?
It's something we do at the Cool.
Yeah.
So excuse me, I have a big hand in that. creating the designs, picking out fabrics and doing the Cools brand, the TCNW brand. But I've had limited runs doing my own merch, but it's not something I'm super focused on at the moment.
I kid you not. I love all the Seattle's music and all that, but
Appreciate that.
find myself listening to your albums over and over.
Wow, man. Thank you so much.
And I just see when you're on the mic, like making music, it's just booming with confidence. But you're like, so you're not just saying random words, what is your writing process?
That's a good question. My writing process is kind of always different. I'd say growing up and even still to this day, I write pretty consistently, maybe daily. It used to be daily, maybe every few days.
Gotcha.
And that kind of keeps your words kind of skill sharp. But what I've realized when it comes to like recording, doing this for as long as I have been now, I've realized that the writing kind of just is there as an exercise now. When it comes to recording, I just go to the studio with like nothing.
Oh wow.
I try to have like really no beats, no ideas in mind, no all the writing that I did, it wasn't ever for anything.
Wow.
You get there and then just kind of create something new on the spot. If I write something, as good as it is, as much as I'm feeling it, a day goes by before I go to the studio, a couple weeks go by, a month goes by. When it's time to then like record the words that I wrote down, it's never exactly
verbatim.
The same vibe as like when I was writing it.
Right.
So in a sense, I'm kind of like capturing like lightning in a bottle. That's what we're trying to do is like capture that lightning in a bottle like every time. So I don't know, it's weird. So when it comes to writing, I guess it's always different. I write to stay inspired so that when it's time to actually, record, that I can just kind of be sharp with it.
Right.
Yeah.
I swear to God, you must be married to your producer or something, because the beats
for
with
the,
you and
for the short movies.
it's like
yeah, we definitely locked in. It's always great to use one producer and like really tap in on a sound. And shout out to my guy Vladimir, man. Vlad Boost Gems, my guy Boost Gems. He did all the beats on there. He grew up in Boston. But yeah, he's out here now. We definitely locked in on the sound. It's crazy. Yeah, old school.
Yes, I love every single beat.
It's my vibe. It's my vibe. You'll hear that kind of style throughout like all my recordings. I mean, I said something on the tape like I've been waiting for a producer like this my whole life or something like that. Like I've known him for a long time. It's crazy. So check this out. This is a little story. Not too many people know this. So the owner of the shop, my friend Mark of the Cool.
Gotcha.
He owned another store in Seattle. He owned Throwbacks Northwest.
Okay.
It's a vintage sports store, Capitol Hill.
Oh, wow.
12th and Pike. Been there for, 10 plus years. Jersey, snapbacks, all the stuff, like vintage starter jackets. So the homie Vlad, he used to actually work there.
Oh.
And then I threw events there. I've seen him in the mix, for years and years and years. And had no idea, right? He's seen me rap. He'd been to different shows and stuff. Couple years ago, like kind of before we started doing pre-production on the short movies project, I just find out that he makes beats.
Yes.
I said, man, let me hear one beat. Let me hear one beat. And I want to say it was one of the beats that ended up going on the tape. I can't remember. But then he played me the Pleasures beat. That was like the next beat that he played me. I was like, man, this is it. I can't believe you never told me about that they didn't make no beats. I'm trying to grab him by the collar, like, you see me, rapping, doing these shows. What's going on, man? Holding out on the beats, and then he just came out with it, and man, the rest is history.
Great.
It's literally crazy.
When it comes to choosing what songs to be on like any album, Rapper for a Hire, the short stories,
man.
How do you choose which songs you actually want to keep?
That's a good question too. I mean, I choose the songs that I want to keep kind of differently too, almost the same way that I'm like writing the songs. I like to record so many.
Right.
So sometimes we're recording with almost like nothing in mind.
Right. Okay.
Sometimes I'm recording like just songs, And then if that's the case, it might come down to a scenario where I have a handful of songs, 20, 30 songs, and then I'm just kind of picking my favorites or maybe similar sounding sonically songs. But other times, in a scenario like the short movies thing, I'm sitting down with just one producer.
Right.
We're tapping in. Like, he kind of created those 5-6 beats with me in mind. Sometimes I was there. Sometimes he just had me in mind.
Gotcha.
and I knew immediately that it was gonna be like these 6.
Right.
You know, and then went to the studio, knocked them out. You know, got them done, check, and then kind of put it all together, rolled it out. Always kind of differently. I
love how you have like a theme for every album, though. You know, like
kind of, yeah. I tried to.
What are your
The
opinions?
aesthetic is
Yes,
very important.
for sure.
What were you gonna say?
What are your opinions on? Because you do them also. What are your opinions on, like intros and outros? I feel like that's an art that's almost like fading away with like interludes and all that.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that you say that too, because intros and outros are like historically pretty important. I think also through with me, if you kind of like look through my different projects, and it's been something that has been lost a little bit, I feel like, in like the hip hop realm. But if you look very, very recently, it's making like a popular comeback.
Yes.
Intros are coming back. And then it kind of made me think about the 50/20s intro on the Short Movies project, and how like we weren't even like really rapping. Right. It was just kind of like a clip, which was like a little different from like, you saw like DaBaby had like a intro video.
Yeah, I saw that. And then they
um,
released the album for like a few weeks after that.
Young M.A. had like an intro.
Oh, that was good.
Titled. These are just like super recently too,
story.
you know. But yeah, ours was a little different approach. It was just more like thematic.
Right.
It didn't have any rapping. It was just like the vocal.
I feel like society as a whole is starting to go back to like this retro phase kind of, though. They're like trying to. I don't know if it's like what it is. They're like, we're going back to like baggy jeans and stuff.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
Everything like this is just going back to this retro thing, and I think music's starting to do that too. Because what is your opinions on like mumble rap? Do you think that's like something to stay, or
mumble rap? I don't even know. Mumble rap is hard to say. You know, I never really liked that term, to be honest.
Okay.
Every decade of music has popular music, and then there's like the underground music, and then there's like maybe like the poppy music, and it's just painted a little differently throughout the decades. But yeah, like just because, and that's why I don't really like that term.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
It's like a phase almost, or
I don't know how to describe it. It's like there's always going to be like poppy stuff. There's always going to be pop music that's going to be just kind of labeled like mainstream. It's going to have a title, and then there's always going to be something that's like more authentic. When people say mumble rap, I think they're just meaning like maybe like not as authentic. You know?
That makes sense.
It's kind of just like of the moment.
Right.
You know, there's always going to be that, you know, flash in the pan, what's going on now in the genre throughout the decades. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's necessary.
It's necessary.
Yeah, it's necessary. I get down with, you know, the trippy reds and the colored dreads, you know. You know, sometimes yeah.
I'm just stuck in that phase, though. I really appreciate when people are able to bring old classics back and make them their own type of vibe, you know? Like, people aren't using your type of instrumentals anymore.
Okay, I see what you're saying. It's like every so often trends will kind of repeat themselves.
Right.
You know, and that's that just like I was saying with the you know, every decade, every generation there's a pop, and then there's this the clothes wise, you know, the trends are always going to come back, and that's kind of the same with music.
Right.
Those soul samples, those you know, lyric driven songs, you know, content is coming back. It's coming back again, you know. There's always going to be guys like that you know, holding strong to it, but it'll rotate to be what is the popular again soon.
Right. So when it comes to your inspirations, what do you gain inspiration from?
I'm fortunate enough to gain inspiration from all over the place. This is like something I think I'm like super lucky with.
Right.
Where I see people kind of struggling is like just being able to find the inspiration. Just right now, you know, being able to talk to you, you know, just being here is super inspiring. You know, going to see shows, going to see other artists, super inspiring. Maybe seeing a movie, just catching like a one line, you know, in a movie.
Yes.
Maybe finding a new artist, super inspiring. Just really anything. I mean, I'm inspired by the people around me, you know, not only musically, but, you know, just like the people in my life, friends, family, people that push me to be better, you know, my peers in the music.
Right.
Always inspired. If you can just kind of take a step back and I guess be kind of in that moment thankful for like, you know, your position or like anything you have, you should be able to find that inspiration pretty easy, you know.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up around here. I'm from east side. I'm from the east side of Seattle. Kingsgate is kind of what I rep. Yeah. Now we're out in Renton. Been in Renton, holding it down for like maybe 6+. A lot of rappers are from the town. The town are from Renton.
Yes.
I just want to say that too. People don't know that. Yeah, the South End definitely has a lot of talented rappers. But yeah, I grew up in Kingsgate. That's where my family kind of raised me and my brother. My dad and mom actually. My mom is from out here too. She was born in Sacramento, and then she came out here as a teen. She went to Garfield High School.
Hey.
My dad grew up in Renton. He went to Hazen.
Right.
And then when they had us, they moved us out to Kingsgate.
Gotcha.
Kind of went to school out there, and then once graduated, moved back to Renton, kind of where most of my family and everyone's from.
So when it comes to making connections, are you able to spread your music through Tacoma all the way up to Everett, or are you staying more in Renton, Tukwila at your shop, or?
I've definitely been throughout the greater Seattle area out here. I don't know why Everett specifically. Just cause
I'll tell you about that in a second.
Okay. Because I have a friend, my videographer. He's I grew up with him in Kingsgate,
right? And
one of my best friends, A.K. Romero. Shout out to A.K. Romero. He lives off Casino Road now in Everett,
right?
So definitely done some shows out there. I can't remember the name of the place we used to go all the time. Maybe Jimmy Z's or something like that. I want to make sure I get the name right, but yeah, I was in Everett. We used to be out there all the time. There was actually another radio station out there. Shout out my guy DJ Nanino. Used to go up there for the radio all the time. But Bremerton area. I love going to Bremerton. It's really cool taking the ferry out there. They got a beautiful venue, the Charleston. I was lucky enough to be on some sold out shows there with some talented artists. Trying to just spread it throughout this area. Right. Mostly in Seattle, but definitely out in the Bellevue, in the Redmond.
Right.
Yeah, trying to take it out there.
So what I've started to notice is there's lots of really like different cliques throughout Greater Seattle, and people don't realize that there's these different cliques. They're like a lot of passionate artists. Like these past 2 weeks, I just found out there's like this huge type of a record label type thing going around in Everett called Control S. And they have a few artists. They've like one of these artists is getting like 25,000 views per song.
Wow.
And they have like producers and everything up there. And I think what it takes for Seattle specifically is that these cliques need to break down their barrier in a way and connect with everyone. Because even though like I think in my opinion Greater Seattle is from like Olympia all the way to Everett or even further. I think that's all of Seattle in my opinion. But when I was interviewing people at like UW, they're like, "Oh, I'm not from Seattle. I'm from Puyallup." Mm-hmm. But in my opinion, I just want to connect everyone.
Yeah.
So I think everything's Seattle.
I feel what you're saying. But if you, it's definitely like to a on a regional scale, we're all from Seattle.
Right.
But I'd say that's probably unfortunate.
Yes.
Because when you come here from Texas, when you come here from California, when you come here from, wherever you're from, when you come here from New York, and you go to even the mall, you go to the shop, you come to the shop, you're not in Seattle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So where I grew up, it wasn't necessarily from Seattle. I do rep Seattle a lot, but I feel what you're saying. Artists shouldn't feel maybe as stubborn to represent that, because on a greater scale we're all lumped into Seattle anyway. We're greater Seattle, like you said, artists, but there's incredible talent from Puyallup, Tacoma for sure, Olympia, all over, even far east. Eastern Washington.
Oh yeah. There's stuff up there. There's radio stations, all that.
There's definitely organizations throwing shows. There's big stuff, in Spokane, Yakima. You know what I mean?
Right.
The cannabis industry is out there. Sneakers are out there. You know, there's streetwear out there. There's hip hop out there. So it's crazy.
Are you able to meet people that are in fashion because of your shop?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And also, being fortunate enough to be the manager here for so long, kind of puts me in a position to do so.
Right.
Every year, there's a trade show in Vegas. Well, they do it in. It kind of travels, but the biggest one is from Vegas. It's the Agenda Magic Trade Show. It's where you go and you can see the brands and see like kind of what they have coming. You can see the collections, the clothing collections that they have in the next few months. You can see if you want to pick up more or less of a certain brand. You can also maybe see new brands.
Right.
So we go out there. We get to kind of touch base with those kind of guys. See if we want to do more Pink Dolphin or if we want to do more denim this season, or also you get your hand in what's trendy. Track pants made a resurgence. Highlighter colors might be popular. Oversized stuff when Yeezy started doing the shoes. The oversized kind of clothes. Yeah, come on. Those would have went crazy with my fit too. I left them out. I left them out. Left them at home today.
Are you are you gonna go to SneakerCon?
Where is SneakerCon coming?
I don't know. I just know it's coming to Seattle soon.
Really, for the first time?
Yeah. So that's gonna be huge.
I know that would be the first time. The closest one I think was maybe Portland.
Right.
For some reason, they don't consider Seattle as big a market as I feel like brands should.
Exactly.
There is like just for instance, there's been no SneakerCon up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we got tons of. There's a market for it. Tons of kids want sneakers. Tons of kids want that streetwear, that hard to find stuff, but it's just very, very small and kind of niche still.
Right.
Shops are few and far between. That's gonna be exciting though. Maybe I could perform or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'd
be cool.
How do you compare your shop to like Bait or Buffalo Exchange or Lucky Dog?
We're definitely like one of the best in the area. Just based on the way that the shop is set up, we're kind of like a hybrid shop.
Right.
We're really, really, really a core streetwear shop at the end of the day. We have a shop with multiple different retail brands in the streetwear game that have been pioneers in the streetwear game for 10 plus years. But then we're a hybrid shop because we've had to adapt to kind of the new shops.
Right.
So, maybe like a quarter of our business is the resale game, the resale side of things, where we could maybe buy, if we're lucky, off drops and then mark it up further and make our profit that way. Or we could buy from the public and then resell, mark it up further that way and then make our money that way. So half of it's going to be brands that you, like you said previously, that you can't really find anywhere else. Supreme, Bape, Palace, Antisocial, all the kind of rare stuff that you really only see online.
Mm-hmm. What are your opinions on like these kids who are able to make thousands of dollars reselling shoes?
I mean, my opinion on those kids is I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them. Instead of having to do anything illegal, instead of having to sell something else, they're selling clothes and kicks. It's crazy. It's very impressive. I have to deal with resellers, on a day-to-day basis, and I would much rather shop with a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid. Just hustling, trying to get his money. They're smarter than most adults.
It's because the internet,
and they have more drive than most adults.
That's how old are you guys? Your wife is here also. No, I don't know if I'm allowed to ask a lady's age. Oh
No.
You are.
No.
That's a common misconception.
I'm timeless.
You're timeless.
I'm timeless.
We're both under 30.
No, I just turned 30 this year.
Gotcha.
I'm 28.
I just turned 30 this year. But that was a bar, though.
But what are your...
Timeless.
I want to know, like, do you feel... I feel like a lot of the younger generation, I might even fall into this. Do you feel that older generations of rappers or just even older people who are trying to be entrepreneurs, do you disagree that they might not have the motivation or inspiration as they get older?
I don't think it's like a motive... I mean, that might be the case sometimes, but I think it's more like just like a disconnect. It's not a motivation thing. The kids are, they're just more adaptive. You know, it's weird because you could make a lot of money right now doing social media for like a company.
Right.
And any kid knows how to do social media.
Right.
I mean, that's it. You know, there's literally jobs that just because maybe you don't learn as much, you know, I don't think it's a motivation thing.
Right.
People are motivated, you know, but for different reasons. But if they can't, you know, if they don't know what to do, if they're not, you know, constantly learning, kids just are born on the internet. You know, they're born with it. They're born knowing how to do the stuff. You know, you give an infant baby, you know, like a tablet.
I see that all the time. They're like, what the heck?
They got their own Facebooks. You know, they're already viral.
Right.
You know.
Like DJ Khaled's son's already a producer.
Yeah,
He's like
whatever lane you want to go into, you know, it's already kind of set up for you. You know, you've been basically putting in the groundwork since you were born.
Yeah. Do you feel with age comes confidence?
I mean, experience definitely gives confidence, right? And that could be a young person, an old person.
I know I keep complimenting you, but your albums, I literally, like, when I listen to Rapper Fire, I'm like, how is he gonna do better on this next album? And like, you surprise me again. Where do you get all this confidence from, like the lyricism?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So if you search for Bryce Bowden on like your streaming apps, right? You're only gonna get the 2 projects that we've, you know, put on the stream.
Yeah.
But that's not the only 2 projects out there.
Right.
So you got Rapper for Hire. That was probably that's 2011. Wow. It's 2011. So I'm like,
it doesn't even seem dated though.
I'm a fresh 18 years old. You know, I'm basically a baby still. And then, you know, fast forward 2019, we put out the short movies.
Right.
And then those are the 2 offerings on like the all the social medias.
Right.
Or not on the social medias, all the streaming services, excuse me.
Okay, my bad.
But now if you Google the name, or you go to like, you know, SoundCloud, you go to, you know, Bandcamp, different services, right? You'll see like 9 projects out there.
Okay.
So basically every project I just tried to get better. You know, the confidence that you speak of, it wasn't like overnight, you know. It's definitely something that I like consciously like tried to get better at, you know, tried to make that like a part of my thing. So yeah, Rapper for Hire was just kind of like the start of the journey, and right now we're in that short movies phase. But there's definitely 9 projects plus random songs. You know, I got over 20 music videos on YouTube and scattered out there.
Do you do album release parties or anything like that?
Yeah, that's another thing that that's probably not my strongest suit.
Okay.
You know, if anyone, you know, if I'm fortunate enough to have anyone out there listening that wants to, you know, be a part of this journey, that's definitely where I need help the most. I'm very creative, but kind of working these records maybe, or working the albums, working the videos for longer, maybe having like more strategic plans is definitely kind of not my strong suit. But as much as I try to do better on each album, each song, I try to do better on those releases as well.
Right.
We're all doing this independently, you know, just me and the help of my friends and family. But, you know, we've set up shows ourselves. We're selling out shows ourselves. We're tying in the aesthetics throughout the release parties, throughout the visuals with the albums themselves. So like, for instance, this short movies album, we had the opportunity to work with the Rendezvous in Belltown, in downtown Seattle, and we sold that place out. It was like so it's a small room. It's like, I think it's under 200, but cool, still we had 200 paying people, and we kind of themed it like the movies, you know. Come to the showing tonight, not the show. Come to the showing. You know, you got your main of feature presentation. That's gonna be, you know, when I hit the stage. We had a popcorn machine there. You know, we had custom bags that say Bryce Bowden short movies. You get some popcorn with your CD. You know, the show was it looked like a movie theater, kind of. You know, we had a projector going in the background. It had my 20 different music videos throughout like my career, kind of spliced, chopped up from old to new.
So you're very creative on that aspect, though.
And I just try to make that event bigger and more exciting for the listener just as much as the music each time.
Are you able to locate, because I know some streaming apps do this, are you able to locate where the majority of your fans are located?
Yeah, I know like some analytics, some places make you pay for those certain analytics. It's kind of all over, to be honest.
Gotcha.
I mean, I've even had some reach as far as like Germany and it's really all over. Like I said, like if anyone wants to come and help dial in these numbers and help steer the ship a little, take us a little further, please reach out. So
now that you're at this like level in a way, when it comes to promoting, or do you do free shows, or because you have a relationship with all these venues now, do you just
So being independent is like a weird space, but like the smartest thing for me is just to focus on getting those new listeners, focus on those new ears, however I can get them.
Right.
So I mean, I'm in no position to like, I'm not above free shows by any means. If it's possible for me to do it, then and it's beneficial for both of us, then I'm gonna do it. Whether money's involved or not. But the more traction, the more attention that I can gain from doing that free stuff, then I can set up my own shows. I can put my money into booking my own shows.
And maybe help
like
other
I said,
people
if I can sell out a show on my own, then I can make my own money. I won't have to rely on anyone else. So all that free, if I ever possibly have to do a free show or if I'm doing free events, for charity or whatever, they're not necessarily free. It's because when it's time for me to set up my own show, then I can make a return that way. So I don't ever really think about it that way. Like I said, I'm in really no position to. I'm not above doing something for free. I just want to get my name out there.
Gotcha.
I just want to work. I just want to make songs. I just want to perform as much as I can. Any opportunities that I'm given, I'm gonna try to take them if it makes sense.
Have you gained traction with meeting any mainstream artists yet? Like even like Malcolmore or Sir Mix-a-Lot?
That's funny. Sir Mix-a-Lot used to come in. He come into the shop every once in a while.
Oh wow.
Macklemore. I've had the pleasure to meet him a few times. We have some similar
beliefs,
friend groups.
Okay.
But I don't know him like that. Yeah.
Right.
I just, like I said, I've just seen him in passing. But mainstream, like I have a Michael Rocks. This dude, Sir Mikey Rocks, group called the Cool Kids.
Oh, you know the Cool Kids?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely like probably one of my closest ties. I don't know if you know another local guy, Il Chris.
Yeah, I know Il Chris. He performed at this event last October.
So that's my boy, Il Chris. I've probably known him for like 15 years, literally.
And he's local?
Yeah. Well, he's from Vegas, but then he grew up out here, Tacoma, Seattle area. Really popped out here. Il Chris is crazy doing his thing right now, but
like Ski Mask and stuff even.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Ski Mask, Juice WRLD. Yeah. He's with them guys all the time. Definitely. Yeah, Il Chris, colder than some chill Chris. But yeah, no, Michael Rocks. I definitely have a song with him from the Cool Kids. Relationships, man. You just gotta, the ones that you do have, whether they're big or small, you just gotta nurture them. And
yes.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Because I feel that you can be a well-rounded rapper or an artist or anything like that, but it does take connections, whether big or small, to actually push you. Yeah.
It takes a lot more than just being a talented rapper these days, unfortunately. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. I would definitely agree with that.
How would you describe your journey as an artist so far to listeners that haven't even listened to your music yet?
I mean, it's been a pleasure. It's been amazing. My journey has been kind of an everlasting one. But I'm very I never get disgruntled. As important as it is for me to keep progressing, and as much as I just literally feel like I have a lot of greatness to do, I guess, in this game, that maybe haven't yet been fortunate enough to touch those stages.
Right.
As great as I feel like I am, I never am disgruntled at where I'm at, because there's always going to be a kid out there who he only wants to be as big as where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very important for me to kind of always keep myself humble. I've done hundreds of shows. You know, I've got 9 projects out. You know, hard copies, some stuff on, you know, the biggest streaming services. I've done huge sold out shows. I've met huge artists. Traveled with the music. Got tons of music videos. You know, I'm happy. The phone is still ringing. If it wasn't about success, I would still be doing this. My road, I feel like it's just been just a great one. I'm just very, very blessed. I'm very, very thankful.
But what do you think it's going to take for you? What do you think you need to just get that one extra step?
Man, I wish I knew, man. If you know, you know, let me know.
My opinion, I just think it takes connections, and it just takes one person to truly deep down in their soul believe in your passion.
I agree, absolutely. It's a lot. It's crazy what you can accomplish with a team.
Yeah.
These different projects that I've released, you know, from Rap for Hire, you know, the first, second, third, fourth, you know, these different projects, you get different help from different people. You know, I've been able to kind of recognize, you know,
right,
and it definitely plays into what you can accomplish with those,
right,
you know. So yeah, a team, yeah, somebody who wants to, who believes in me, wholeheartedly, someone who's willing to work in different areas where I can't.
Right. Okay.
You know, I need to. The less business. This is messed up, but the less business that I have to focus on, the more music I can focus on.
That makes sense, though.
It's kind of selfish, but like you said, if someone believes, it's not selfish. You know, and I think that is ultimately probably what it'll take one day. Is like just the right team. Yeah,
right.
it's not too far out. It's not too far out. Yeah, it's the right team.
That's
right people around me.
That's why I think it's important to you don't even have to work with these artists, but just to collab with them on like going to events and stuff. Like the guy, me and Gary had the 2 brothers we had the other day. Those guys were super deep thinkers. Like I have not met an artist like that. They're like out of the box completely. Okay. And it just takes
in a good way, in a bad way.
It's crazy. It was good in my opinion.
Okay.
It just takes I think it just takes a different perspective with people to like, and then that it's inspiration. Like you say, you gather inspiration from anything.
Yep.
Just even sitting down and talking with a different artist who's on their own path, you might learn something from them. Like, oh, that's how they're promoting. Maybe I can focus on promoting that way too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Every artist has some sort of flaw.
To soak that game.
Right.
That's why I love this. That's why I love this game, because there's like a fraternity. It's like a fraternity kind of. You know, if you remove the competitiveness, we're all basically just in the same. Like you said, we're all trying to do the best marketing. We're all trying to come up with the next scheme. We're all trying to come up with the hottest song. We're all trying to come up with the next bar. You know, we can learn a lot from each other instead of
thinking you're better than someone.
Exactly, trying to compete with each other. Yeah, you know.
When it comes to your platform now and hopefully in the future, what do you want to use and what are you using your platform to do?
You know, if I could just inspire another artist of any kind to just not stop, keep going, not think about it from like a wealth standpoint, not think about it from a money standpoint, then I won. You know, I mean, even more. So someone from my original neighborhood, you know, from Kingsgate, someone who grew up on my street, you know, someone who, you know, if I can get a kid to keep going or inspire them to pick up the paintbrush,
anything,
and then I won. So I'm saying the small wins,
right?
You know, I don't need a lot.
That makes sense though.
Yeah. I mean, I was probably like the first one. I felt like the first one to literally like put like an album out and like really probably put like a stamp on Kingsgate, you know. So like I know since then there's been like artists to reach out, different rappers, singers, but you know that's what means the most to me.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
It's weird, but I think it's important
that legacy,
and it's important to feel alienated in a way, because then you know that you're actually bringing something truly unique.
I feel you. Yeah, maybe not. I feel what you're saying. Alienated might not be like the best word.
Okay.
But they say like what's the saying? They say like the first one through the wall is all. The first one through the wall gets the bloodiest. Kind of like something like that. You know, like the leaders don't necessarily know where they're leading. You know, I don't. But yeah, definitely.
Right. Now that you've grown up in Seattle, you're definitely a true Seattleite. for
boom, boom,
artists from around here or even outside of Seattle? What do you think Seattle has to offer for the community, as United States as a whole, for artists?
Man, I feel like Seattle, we're still pretty untapped. We have such a we could be like the next we could be the next Atlanta.
That's what I say. I think it's a sandbox.
We could literally be the next Atlanta. We could be New York City had their run. LA, California always has a slew of artists. Right now Atlanta, the South is really doing their thing, controlling the market share. I think Seattle, Washington area has that capability. That's our ceiling.
Exactly.
And we're just very, very slowly to get there. But when we get there, we will hold that reign just like that Atlanta has it right now.
Definitely.
And I say that confidently because just in the greater Seattle area, you have so many different styles. You have so many. It's just such a melting pot. So many different talented artists doing all sorts of different kind of music. Obviously grunge music, rap music, pop music, R&B, singing stuff. Rap, hip hop. You got hyphy, you know what I mean? You got like you said, like the more trappy, the more mumble rap stuff. It's out here.
Right.
And I'd say a lot of it is at a high level.
Exactly.
The problem is I've heard that there is labels out here,
right,
or maybe A&Rs from big labels out here more in the recent years, but I haven't been fortunate enough to run across any paths.
That's what comes to connections. I want to help you with that too.
See, if there was, I mean, to my knowledge, there's no one setting up shop out here yet.
Right.
But you get someone to place the flag in, and then, over time more is going to pop up. It's going to put more light on the artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your advice for any upcoming entrepreneurs, artists?
Don't be afraid to fail, don't be afraid to fail, kid, and never stop. The only time you truly fail is when you finally stop.
Right.
Every time that you shoot a shot, you obviously want to hit that target every time, but every time you shoot a shot, whether it hits the target or you miss, it's still a success, right, because it gives you that confidence to know not to do that in the future. Know what not to do, and it's like we said earlier. Experience is kind of just is gold out here. Experience is worth it all. It's just your perspective on it. So I guess one of my best traits, beyond being just constantly inspired, just that hunger to never stop, So right, that's definitely my best advice. I'm telling you, you can get anywhere just from being able to find the adversity in the times that you fail.
Right. Do you think it's important to put out something you don't feel confident in, or do you think you need to master it first and then put it out, or do you think it's important to see?
Just with like a song?
Or anything. Do you think it's important to
don't put out anything you're not confident in, I wouldn't say. But at the same time, don't be afraid to try something new. If you liked it enough, don't second guess yourself. Don't put out something that you're not confident in. But it's hard as an artist. Songs get stale. You sit with songs long.
Right.
And it's kind of like I was saying about writing. But you sit with songs too long, they get stale. It's old to you, and no one's ever heard it. You might never even put it out.
Right. Are there any final words you have for Seattle?
Man, I'm up next. This
yes,
is it. This is it. This is my time. It's been my time. Honor Roll, FML, Bryce Bowden. Short movies is out now. We here. It's not even on no cocky stuff. We put in that groundwork. It's time just to get some new listeners. I'm literally so thankful to be here. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Sit down here. Yeah.
What are the easiest way to reach you?
Obviously, get at me on social media. It's my first and last name, Bryce Bowden 206. Pretty easy. If you want to book me, you want to reach out any business thing, you can hit up Bryce Bowden Music @gmail.com. But I'm out and about in the city. I'm at shows. When you see me, say what's up.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. This is DJ Blake and Bryce Bowden.
Let's go.